Hello and welcome back to Sundays at Home. It's good to see you back for another week.
What? It's Sundays at Home now?
Yes, Rachel, that's why I called you in here.
Cupcake. But if we're going to film, I need to go to the toilet, so can you hold my cupcake and I'll just come right back?
No, it's not a good idea. If you ask me to hold, I'm not a good person to look after things.
It's fine, I just need to go to
No,
the toilet.
you don't understand. I'm going to drop it or you'll lose it and I don't want you to, no, stop.
What?
See, look, I'm going to drop it. Please don't leave me here on my own with this cupcake. No,
2 minutes.
I don't want to drop it for you.
It's okay.
5 minutes later.
Okay, I'm back. You know, when you've got to go, you've just got to
What?
go.
I didn't drop it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, today we're going to be talking about something called stewardship. Now, if you don't know what that means, it simply means taking care of something that we don't own, but looking after it anyway. Now, Josh here wasn't a very great steward. He wasn't very good at looking after my cupcake. But we thought, in order to explain this, we would all have a go at trying to look after something. And we're going to play a short game of steward stacking.
Okay, so in order to explore a bit more about stewardship this morning, this is the challenge that we're going to give a go, and you can have a go at this as well at home. So what you'll need is something to balance with. Now, we're going to use books, okay, but it can be anything that's flat and you can sort of stack on top of each other, and it also has to be something that is not going to break if it drops on the floor. It's not fragile. Okay, so we're going to see how much we can be a steward of and who can be a steward of more and who can be a better steward. Okay, so we're going to start off by seeing how many books we can balance with 2 hands, and then how many books you can balance with 1 hand, and then at the end we're going to try how many books can you balance on your head. Okay, so good luck with that.
Yes, so we're going to head over there and give this a go. And we are both going to give it a try and see who is a better steward between us. But for you guys at home, you can give this a go too and see if you can beat us and be a better steward than we can be. So come on, let's go give this a try.
Oh, well done, Rachel.
Thank you, well done you too.
Thank you very much. I think we've learned, haven't we, that I would be a good steward if I have to balance things on my hands,
Yes.
and you would be a good steward if you have to balance things on your head.
Absolutely.
And well done if you managed to be even better stewards and looked after your books even more than we did.
Yeah.
Fabulous, but it was really good to have a little bit of a stewardship stacking challenge. Well done.
Indeed, and now that was just a game about looking after books. But stewardship is a little bit different, and we're going to explore that now. I would like you to think of perhaps a time when you were looked after by someone else. So Josh and you guys at home, is there a time when your parents or whoever's at home with you went away and couldn't take you with them, so someone else took care of you instead? Who was that person or people?
Yeah, well, there was a time when my parents went away for a week or so, and it was my grandparents actually that came and looked after me. It was great fun. We did some baking, had some card games, we played Happy Families, which was a thing we used to do a lot.
Super, and why do you think that you guys at home and Josh, why do you think your parents chose your grandparents to come and look after you and didn't just look through the phone book and go, they'll do? Why do you think that they asked them instead?
I think probably because they knew my grandparents, so they knew that they weren't going to do anything horrible, or which is not necessarily the case with a stranger. And I guess they trusted them as well because they looked after my parents when they were growing up, so they knew they could look after me. And also, I think they knew that we enjoyed sort of spending time with them, so they knew that we'd have a good time as well.
Okay, and I guess because you were a child and you were important to your parents, you couldn't be placed in the care of anyone, so your grandparents were, like you said, were trustworthy, reliable and dependable.
Yeah, and I guess as well, just like my grandparents were, trusted and depended to look after us when me and my sister when we were kids, God has kind of done the same thing with us and his creation, the world around us.
Definitely, and in fact, in God's creation, it's so important to God that, in a sense, like we are important to our parents, God's creation is important to him, and he left us to look after it. And God values us and places us in charge of caring for the earth and all that's in the earth too. And that's what stewardship in a Christian sense is as well.
That's right, yeah, and absolutely. And just like my parents knew that I would enjoy to spend time with my grandparents, probably, God wants us to enjoy his creation and to have fun with it. But he knows that if we look after it, and we know if we look after it better, we can enjoy it more. And, that's the way that he intended it. And there's loads of really practical ways that we can do that in everyday life as well. Just little things like making sure we turn lights off, saving energy, or making sure that we're recycling when we can, rather than just sort of putting things in the bin, or choosing to walk or cycle somewhere instead of taking a trip in the car, or all things that we can do to help out and be a good steward of God's creation.
Absolutely. And in fact, another example that's a little closer to home, last weekend in Kempsey, for about 2.5 hours, 3 incredible people litter picked from the main road to Hatfield Road near the bus stop and filled 8 bags of rubbish. And this is amazing. This means that the rubbish that was lying about isn't going to affect our environment now or hurt the animals that live there. And this is what is looking after our planet in a local way too, which is amazing.
That's really, it's really, really good. Yeah. So, stewardship is a really important part of being a Christian, and if it's something that you are sort of concerned about or something that you really care about, it's actually a really important part of being a Christian too. And those things really match up well together. So it's great to sort of be considering stewardship and thinking about that today.
Yeah, and that's our topic on stewardship. And we now have a few questions for you to discuss with those who are at home with you. So, question number 1. What is your favourite thing about the world that we live in?
And question number 2, how do you look after the world that's around you in your life?
And question number 3, the final question. How can we become more involved in looking after God's creation where we live? Okay, so that's all we have for you today on the topic of stewardship. We hope you enjoyed and had a bit of fun, and we'll catch you again next week for our next Sundays at Home.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, bye.